Pistons Live is presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Pistons feeling those Memphis Blues tonight. The Grizzlies, without Ja Morant, got a big night from Desmond Bane. They knock off the Pistons on a bit of a frustrating evening for J.B. Bickerstaff and the boys. 109-103, the finals. We welcome you inside Little Caesars Arena for Pistons Live. Thanks for staying with us on a Saturday night. Grant Long, Mickey York with you at the Cure Auto Insurance Desk. We'll get J.B. Bickerstaff's post-game reactions coming up in just a moment. But Grant, the Pistons keep saying, even after clinching the postseason berth last night, that they're not done. Tonight was a reminder of that. Still some work to be done before the playoffs begin.
Yeah, absolutely. This Memphis team came in very gamed. I heard Greg Kelser say it during the broadcast. It's been a tough road trip for the Pistons. I believe their fourth game in 5 nights or something like that. 3 of the
last 4, yep.
Yeah, so they may be a little road weary right now, but at the same time, this is what the playoff experience is like. You're going to play games in close proximity to one another. So you have to prepare yourself mentally and physically. And again, this is one of those things that the Pistons are learning on the fly. Remember where they were last year. So all of this is a new experience for them, having so many meaningful games toward the end of the season.
And we found out just before the game that Jalen Duren would not play tonight. That turned out to be a big advantage for the Memphis Grizzlies. As we look at our GMC Pro Vision, they absolutely beat up the Pistons on the glass and in second chance points.
Well, you hear me say this all the time, Mickey. If you control the glass, it's like a football player controlling the line of scrimmage. You pretty much control the game. And that's where this game was won at, quite frankly, for the Memphis Grizzlies. They were on the glass. They got those second chance points that sometimes led to a 3-pointer, sometimes led to just a simple 2-point basket. But when you express yourself on the glass, you have a distinct advantage, because what that means is you're getting more possessions, more opportunities to score than your opponent. And that's where the game, again, was won for the Memphis team. They were without Ja Morant, so they needed to find a way to get things done. They manufactured points by creating those second chance opportunities. I said it earlier at halftime, Mickey, they've got 5 guys that go 6'11" or taller. They used that height advantage tonight.
That was a problem for the Pistons. So was Desmond Bane. 38 points for him. He leads all scores, and it just looked like everything he threw up was going to find the bottom of the net tonight.
He was very composed all night. You didn't see him rush a whole lot of his offense. He took what was available to him. He created one-on-one opportunities and was able to score the basketball from either the 3-point line or within the 3-point line. So I like what he was able to present in the absence of Ja Morant. I scratch my head and say, when those two are on the floor together, this team can be very, very difficult to beat. And it's no wonder, it shouldn't be a surprise that they were near the top of the Western Conference at some point in the season when both of these guys were healthy. They're going to be a tough out if they can manage to get themselves in, Mickey, because this guy, Desmond Bane, is certainly a player. He's a premier player in this league, and he proved it tonight.
Reminds me of Vinnie Johnson, doesn't he?
He does. He's even got a build like Vinnie Johnson.
Yeah. And the fact that he can heat up like Vinnie used to as well. And he was hot tonight. All right, Greg Kelser called it alongside George Blaha. He joins us now as we go courtside with Kelser. Greg, on a positive note, nice to see Cade Cunningham back on the floor tonight, but I don't know, maybe it looked like he had not played in 6 games, although played well overall. But the Pistons, minus Jalen Duren tonight, still had some things, and Tobias Harris had a lot to overcome, even with Cade and Isaiah Stewart back on the floor tonight.
Yeah, it was a tough night for the Pistons because Memphis went right at their weak spot, which was rebounding the ball. You know, the guy who had 20 rebounds last night, 20-plus rebounds last night in Toronto was not available today, and 20 rebounds was the difference on the boards for the Memphis Grizzlies to their favor, and this is how they won the game. I mean, all the second chances that they got, and every time they got a rebound on the offensive end, that was one less opportunity for the Pistons to get a defensive rebound and run. Now, the Pistons' advantage was in speed and quickness and getting up and down the floor, and they utilized that to great effect. When they did clear a rebound or they did get a turnover, off they went, and most of the time they scored. They had 25 points. I make that 23 points on the fast break. 25 points, and Memphis is only 2. The thing that I look at when I see the stat sheet that comes as a bit of a disappointment is that on a night when the Pistons only turned the ball over 7 times, they couldn't win that game. They couldn't win it. I give Memphis a lot of credit, and Desmond Bane, and like you said, Grant, is a heck of a player. You take Ja Morant out of the lineup, and he just goes crazy, at least when they come here. 49 last year with no Ja Morant, 38 this year. Just a tremendous effort. It almost obscures the 27 that Jaren Jackson had, but I believe the unsung player in this game is Zach Edey. 21 rebounds. Big fella was around that basket. He looked 7'3" or 7'4". He was a problem. He also blocked a couple of shots, and he altered many others. So give Memphis credit. When you look at their record, they are now 14 games over 500, yet they're struggling to stay out of that play-in situation.
That's incredible. Like you said, 14 games. I'm going to stick with Zach Edey, Greg. Obviously, this is a three-point shooting league. Do you still see a way that he might be a relevant player in the league with what we saw tonight?
On this team, he can be, because they've got enough shooters and scorers around him, and then they can put him in and let him do what he does. Now, what he does best for them now is rebound the ball and defend near that basket. I don't know that you're going to see the Zach Edey that you saw at Purdue in the NBA until they start changing the way they use big men again. At Purdue, he could average 24 points a game because you put him down on the block, throw him the basketball, and dare anybody to stop him. Many times they couldn't. They don't play that way very much in the NBA anymore. So that's going to, that takes an element of effectiveness away from him. But I'll give him credit. He's finding ways to still get minutes and get important minutes and play an important role. He showed it tonight.
Hey, Greg, JB Bickerstaff has made his way to the podium. I want to ask you to sit tight for a moment as we listen in on his post-game comments now.
JB, how much of tonight is credited to the minus 20 rebound differential?
I mean, that was the game, right? If we were able to rebound the ball better, when we got stops, we were great in transition as usual tonight. But their size and their length, in the paint kind of got the best of us tonight.
With a player like Desmond Bane, what made him so difficult tonight?
I mean, he's a good player. He can score in so many different ways. He can make open shots. He can put the ball on the floor and create his own. He's good at driving the ball, creating contact, all those things. He's just a well-rounded offensive player, and he stepped up when they needed him to.
About 28 minutes for Cade tonight. Just what was the approach for him, just given that he had missed about a couple of weeks of action coming in?
Yeah, that was the goal, around that number. Obviously didn't want to overexert him, give him an opportunity to get his legs under and try to catch his rhythm a little bit. And I thought he did a good job of that.
Hey, Coach, what did you think of the performance of Isaiah Stewart, and how much did this game kind of justify how much he means to the team?
Stu is always great, and whatever his role is and whatever we need him to do, he goes out and does it to the best of his ability every single night. He brings a presence. He's ferocious on the glass. Defensively, he knows how to play the pick and roll and execute our coverages. But he just plays with a great spirit, and he showed that again tonight.
Ausar Thompson has the ID of a defensive player, but 18 points tonight. He's really been a lot more aggressive with finding his shot. Kind of talk about what you've seen in his growth offensively.
Well, just understanding the win. I think he does a great job of, pushing the ball in transition, and he's elite at finding creases, and then has the ability to split those creases and be physical enough to get to the rim. And then he's drawing fouls too, and he's making his free throws at a decent rate for us also. So he's starting to understand how to get his, and how that helps the rest of the team, because he's a great passer. So when he gets to the paint, if they want to bring help, he has the ability to make those plays also. Thank you all.
Well, there it is in a nutshell. JB, he encapsulates everything quite accurately. He sees the game, sees it fully in terms of every development, everything that is utilized to advantage, and the things that you miss out on. If you're the Pistons, you walk away from this feeling like maybe you should have had it, but at the same time, you took care of your business last night, and there's still some meaningful games and some meaningful accomplishments to achieve. If you can get them, you turn your focus now to Sacramento on Monday, who's fighting to stay in the play-in situation. You go back to when they played Sacramento in California early in the season, they had the Pistons beaten, but the Pistons got a fortunate bounce and a 4-point play from Jaden Ivey right near the end to steal that game. That crowd was stunned. I'll never forget it. But that has brought the Pistons to where they are now. Look at this game. even as it looked dire as it got near the end, you could still feel like the Pistons felt like something's going to happen and we'll pull it out, because that's what they've established now, a winning attitude and a winning mindset and a winning expectation. They didn't get it tonight, but they will, again, try to get it on Monday against Sacramento.
Yeah, and JB wants this team playing its best going into the postseason. He was saying before the game, as a newly formed group, we're not in a position where we can be taking time off. We don't want to disrupt what we've built up to this point. So it's important for us to be playing our best basketball when the playoffs arrive. The Pistons try to get back on track again on Monday night. Greg, as always, we appreciate the time. We'll see you again on Monday.
All right, guys.
All right. You heard JB talk about the return of Isaiah Stewart tonight, and his presence was felt. 16 points, 8 rebounds, knocked down a couple of threes.
Yep.
You know, he's playing with those 14 technical fouls now, so I guess you want to be careful, right, with him in some ways, but also at the same time not harness what makes Stu.
Yeah, you got to let him be true to himself, and that's being aggressive on the defensive end. Tonight, I thought he activated himself very early in the ball game in his first game back. He got going on the defensive end of the floor. That sets everything up for Isaiah Stewart. When he gets going there and he's having success, the offense will follow. He doesn't have to make a whole lot of shots. Just make the ones that are available to him. You heard him at halftime when he was talking. He said, listen, I'm going to take the available shots, the best ones that's there for me. He's wide open right there. He's worked on the shot. Go ahead and let it fly, and he knocks it down. This is where his bread is going to always be buttered, getting near the basket for that high percentage shot. And again, to go along with the defense that he played tonight, it was standard operation for Stu.
3 blocks, 2 steals. Good to have Isaiah Stewart back tonight as well. All right, the Pistons started the night with a half-game lead over Milwaukee for 5th in the East. Milwaukee in Miami taking on the Heat tonight. Miami right now up on the Bucks by 7 just after the start of the fourth quarter down there in Miami. So if that should hold up, Milwaukee again would kind of go back into 5th based on the better conference record, but not a lot of ground lost, even despite the loss to the Memphis Grizzlies for the Pistons tonight. All right, we are just getting warmed up here on a Saturday night in downtown Detroit. More post-game reaction on the way, including conversation with Malik Beasley following a 109-103 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies. Frustrating night for the Pistons. They fall by 6 to the Memphis Grizzlies as we look at our FanDuel's Make Every Moment More. At the free throw line from Jaren Jackson Jr. fouled here on his first shot attempt by Asar Thompson. He would go to the line 11 times tonight and finish with 27 points and 11 rebounds. A double-double for Jaren Jackson Jr. If you put $10 on him to score first tonight, you would have won $45 in return with those plus 450 odds. And Asar Thompson involved in that first play and first foul of the game also had a nice night. Finished with a double-double, 18 points and 11 rebounds, a plus 340 on Asar to have a double-double. But Grant, once again, made his presence felt on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I like anytime Asar's getting a lot of minutes to play because he's going to perform. He has the green light, Mickey, to attack the opponent's defense before they can get back and get set. So a lot of times you will see him advance the ball up the floor. Once he gets past half court, he's got the green light to go ahead and try to get to the basket and put pressure on that defense. And more times than not, he's going to be successful. So playing in the open floor, we talked about the transition points of the Pistons tonight. Asar Thompson was a huge part of that.
Yeah, and on a night without Jalen Duren, he tried to make up for that loss with those 11 rebounds tonight, but not nearly enough as Memphis had a plus 20 advantage on the glass in this one. The Pistons playing last night now fall to 6-8 on the second night of back-to-backs this season, and they have dropped 3 of their last 4 overall. Malik Beasley discussing that as we bring you his post-game comments presented by Cure Auto Insurance.
Malik, you guys are typically a team that has its way on the glass, both offensive and defensively, but with Jalen Duren not being available tonight, how much did Memphis's length hurt you guys?
A lot. They had a lot of tall guys. At one point, they were playing 3 bigs at one time, with Aldama at the 3. But we got to be better. We got to box out, hit, find, and go get, and, do our job. No excuses.
With that being said, even with them being plus 20 rebounding margin, for you guys to be in a 2-possession game at the final scoreboard, what does it say about what you did get production-wise from you guys?
That we play hard. We had a back-to-back. They've been waiting for us. It's great to have Cade back. With JD out, we didn't we could have used them tonight, but, it's that time of the season. So we just got to, continue to play with each other and continue to fight and just play the right way. I don't think we're mad about the loss. I think that, obviously we're mad about the loss, but it wasn't like we didn't have the effort, and that's what the most important thing.
Obviously not the outcome you wanted, but what does it mean for you to be able to reach the 300 threes mark and be in a class with guys like Steph and Clay?
It's a blessing, man. I credit my teammates. I credit the people I've been putting a lot of work in, my trainers, the coaches, my family. I'm extremely grateful. Obviously, I want to win, so it doesn't really feel like it. But at the end of the day, nobody can take that from me. So I'm extremely thankful and blessed.
With not just, 4 games remaining, but, Milwaukee's in Miami tonight. Obviously, you guys have watching what the Pacers are doing as well. Mm-hmm. How much, now it's getting real tight here. Every game's so valuable. How much are you paying attention to what's happening around the league? How much are you just trying to keep it like, hey?
Yeah, I'm focused on myself right now. I've been in this league a long time to know not to focus on the other teams and what they got going on. For me, my main focus is getting my body healthy. And making sure I'm ready to go. I've been slipping my percentage from 3. I want to make sure I'm more consistent, taking the right shots. And get my defense better. It's mostly a time for me to dial in to get ready for playoffs, and I think it's the same for the individuals on our team.
Yeah, everybody dealing with something at this time of year. Malik, 3 of 12 from beyond the arc tonight, but you heard him talk about the fact that he became the first Piston in franchise history to have over 300 threes made in a season, and in doing so put himself in a pretty impressive club, Grant.
Yeah, it certainly has. And again, this is what the NBA has come to. If you're a long ball shooter, you're going to have multiple opportunities to impact the game. And if you look at who he's listed with, all of these guys are preeminent scorers in the league, but their skill set allows them to shoot the ball from distance, and that's why they're able to put points on the board in a hurry. That's why no lead is actually safe when you're playing against guys like this and have this skill set. These guys can put points and close a gap very quickly.
Yeah, a long way to go to catch Steph Curry, who has done it 5 times and made it look easy along the way. All right, the Pistons will be off until Monday night when they welcome in the Sacramento Kings for Game 2 of their final 4-game homestand of the season. We will look ahead to that matchup against another team fighting for its postseason life when Pistons Live continues. As for the Pistons, they get back to more serious business here on Monday night when the Sacramento Kings come to town. They are fighting for the final playoff spot in the West. In that final, they're in 10th right now, trying to hang on to that as they come to Detroit. Pistons Live will get us going at 6:30. They'll tip it up at 7 o'clock. And as Greg mentioned earlier, it was a heck of a meeting when these two teams played out there in Sacramento. A Jaden Ivey 4-point play basically at the buzzer proved to be the difference.
Yeah, but it'll have to be desire and focus on this time around with the Sacramento Kings, because just like the Grizzlies that came in here fighting for their play-in spot, so are the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, and there's nothing easy left on the regular season schedule for the Pistons, despite the fact that they have officially locked themselves into the postseason. But they fall to the Grizzlies tonight, 109-103. For all of us here at FanDuel Sports Network, thanks for watching. Good night, kids.
Good night, Romulus, from your very own Beat the Number champion.